Next, we are again looking at how to deal with uneven cash flows in Excel. Textbook that we're using again is the Spiceland textbook. There is no immediate formula for doing this, but I'll show you different methods and then talk about the very best one from my point of view. Here is the question we're going to be tackling. Turpentine Distillery is considering investing in a 2-year project. So 2 years. The company's required rate of return is 10%. That's the discount rate. Present value of $1 is 10%. $1 for one period is 10. At 10% is 0.909 and 0.826 for 2 periods at 10%. Now to calculate, the project is expected to create cash flows of $240,000 and $300 in the first and second years. So we should invest in the project if the present value of the project exceeds the investment amount today. Now, let me put all the information I have up here down in Excel to make it easier to see. We've got year 1, year, we've got 1 and 2. I'm going to put the cash flows. For the first year is 24,000. Second year is 300,000. We have additional information. It's totally surplus to requirements because in Excel we don't need it, but we'll use it for proof. The present value of $1 at 10%. We also know that if we know the present value of $1, we can calculate the present value of any amount just by multiplying them together. So 0.909, 0.826, and we're trying to find the present value of the cash flows. You could use a financial calculator to do this, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to use basic Excel formulas. The final information we have is the rate, which is 10% every single year. So let's start with the present value of the cash flows. Because we've been given present value of $1, we can simply say is equal to the present value of $1 times the cash flows. So that's the present value of the first one, and that's the present value of the second payment. That means that the present value of the whole investment is the sum of the two. So that's 465,960. I'm going to format this as a dollar amount. It makes it easier to see what's going on without the decimal places. And I'm going to take this format and paint it onto the other dollar amounts. So this is the solution to the problem. Done. Now in Excel we can do one of two things. We can use an Excel formula to find the present value of each individual cash flows without the use of this number here, or we can use Excel's N per formula. If you use Excel's PV formula, you can find the present value of the first cash flows expected in year 1 and the present value of the second cash flow expected in year 2. A better way to do this is to use Excel's net present value formula. It helps you find the present value of an unequal cash flow. So I'm going to do Control Copy. I'm going to paste the cash flow here along with the information on rate, which is 10%. Now the formula, this is all we're going to use for this one here. The formula that Excel uses is called NPV. And that formula requires two things. It needs the rate and the cash flows starting from time 0. So you would have a cash flow for time 0 if it was starting from time 1. So we have a cash flow from time 1 and time 2. So our cash flows are down here. I'm just going to select both. We could have inputted the cash flow as a comma delimited list. Not going to do that. Press and close, enter, and you get almost the same amount. These values are rounded up. That's why you have a difference in the cash flow. These values here are rounded up. They have more decimal places than are shown on screen.